Are you ready to slander reality once again? Like take it all apart and disrespect the seriousness of the world? Well, come on into the Comedian Americans podcast. We are solving the world's problems one lunatic idea at a time. Put on your red, white, and blue clown shoes. Let's go stomping through the cultural minefield because we're here to fix America. That's what we're going to do. We're going to laugh at our pain. I don't know, their pain. I'm Dr. Dan, American, Comedian American, founder of Comedian Americans. I have joke OCD. I just like to write jokes. I used to do this for a living for late, late shows, and now I just do it to annoy people who don't like comedy. I bring on a co-host every week, and I bring on comedians, and I bring on people that I think are funny, and I think this person's funny. We had a good time last time we talked. My co-host this week, CEO, President, Queen of Black Bean Marketing, from British Columbia, correct? Is that where you are?
Yeah.
British Columbia. I'm going to have to ask you about that. Via Haiti, Switzerland, Germany, China, I don't know, probably 10 or 11 other countries. Yeah. Laura Norp Boyer. Hey, how's it going?
Hi, how are you?
Good. You ready to solve the world's problems?
Let's do this.
Now you're in Canada, so you're not. Yeah. I guess this is Comedian North Americans then. Today.
I'm also Swiss, so European North Americans.
Yeah, I kind of have this brand of Comedian Americans, but also have called it Comedy Humans. Like there's a certain swath of humanity that just would prefer comedy be the lead of everything, like the dominant mode.
Yeah.
And we're oppressed by the serious.
Are we oppressed?
Yeah. Like you can't really say your comic thoughts in ordinary work, life. You'll get punched, you'll get fired.
Well, that's why you become CEO. This way you can't get fired.
Do you say your comic thoughts? Like, do you just not edit yourself at all anymore?
I don't edit myself much. Swiss people, much like Dutch and German, we don't have much of a filter. French too, pretty savage, but accurate. So I don't edit much. I've had to tone it down sometimes for the North American audience.
Really?
Yeah, I have my wingman at the office, director of business intelligence, and we've been best friends for years. So sometimes he'll act as the fireproof whenever he senses I'm about to say something a little bit too outrageous for the North American market. He jumps in ahead of me and just, blocks me from saying something that will be highly offensive.
Too outrageous for the North American market. My God, America thinks of itself as the most progressive place on earth, but it's half progressive and it's half puritanical. Like the Puritans,
very PC.
They still hang out. They still rule America.
Yeah.
So what's something that you stopped yourself from saying?
Oh boy, I'm gonna get in trouble now. No one's here to. Where's Grant?
Where's my censor?
Where's my censor? I don't have an example right now, but I'm pretty sure that if you start with your news topics, it's gonna come up for sure.
All right, well, let's just do it. Like, let's jump right in since you brought it up before we even started. Texas lost its mind even more this week and passed anti-voting laws, basic racist laws, and made abortion basically illegal. And the Supreme Court of America was like, yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah. Your Supreme Court's very conservative, isn't it?
Well, it certainly seems to have turned that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, the ghost of, Ruth Bader Ginsburg was out for blood this week. She was cruising around the skies looking for trouble.
Oh, God, I miss her.
Right?
I do miss her. Yeah, it's seeing it from the comfort and the safety of Canada. It's terrifying.
Well, tell me about that, because you're in, Canada, like you were saying, has some type of, you can't impinge on women, or what's the rule?
Haven't really looked into it. There are version of a constitution. It's called the Charter of Rights and Freedom. And I believe that bodily autonomy is covered within that freedom. So it's not, I'm pretty sure, I'm not super familiar with Canadian law, being that I'm not Canadian yet. But from what I understand, it's not going to be overturned. The rights to, you know, choosing what you do with your body, whether you're a man or a woman, is not going to be overturned. Every election they go to the conservative candidates and they ask them their views on abortion and choice. And every year they very cautiously say, you know, it's been decided, we're not revisiting it.
Nice.
So that's something I can respect.
Well, that's what they did here forever. That's been the cover here. It's like, well, it's settled law, and it is. It's settled law.
It's actually not settled. It's a precedent. It's a Supreme Court precedent. So
doesn't that settle it? Is that settled law?
God, my law class memories are very foggy. It's been a while, but from what I understand, a precedent can be overturned by another precedent.
But none of that happened.
If there was a court case that made its way all the way to the Supreme Court again, let's say a Roe versus Wade 2.0, that could overturn the initial one.
But that's not what happened. Like this, they talk about here.
No, it's not what happened.
The shadow docket, right? That they're basically ruling on these things by not ruling on these things, just letting these crazy states do whatever they want without intervening.
Isn't that what federalism is all about?
Well, again, like it starts to float up like helium into all these other issues, right? Federalism versus states' rights and all that. But that's why they kind of drove down the middle with the 24-week viability thing that settled the law, I thought. You know, so like there's looking at like a legal issue, and then there's looking at it as humanity issue, and then the crazies issue. It's a very, like when you look at the amalgamation of what abortion is, it's an insanely complicated topic.
It is. We do have exactly 4 pro-birth people. I don't call them pro-life because they're not for life. They just want the birth to happen. And after that, they don't care what happens to the life. So we have 4 pro-birth people in our town. The same 4. 4 of them. They are all seniors, predominantly male, and do not possess a uterus. Am I allowed to say uterus on your podcast?
You can say whatever you want. This is comedy. I put the explicit label on this.
They stand in front of our hospital. They stand in front of our hospital wearing the little sandwich boards, you know, saying, come talk to us.
Has anybody ever been persuaded by a sandwich board in all of history? You're like going along, I don't really know what to believe here. And, oh my God, look at that. They're wearing wood with a belief statement on it.
So they stand at the corner and they actually don't make any noise. They're picketing, they're not shouting. They're very Canadian and they're
wow, Canadian MAGA. So that's really interesting.
They stand around and they drink coffee wearing the sandwich boards. It's hilarious. And so many times as I drive by in front of the only hospital in town, I just feel like rolling my window down and say, just fuck off. But then I realized it's not going to change anything. Just like their sandwich board is not going to change my opinion. My shouting at them is not going to change their opinion. However, they have pulled together enough resources to have a little truck. So they have like a little minivan that drives around with our pro-birth slogans on the sides, and on the back is a photo of a fetus. And having been pregnant quite a few times, I know the gestational stage. So you're probably looking at a 6 to 8 week old clump of cells. And on the other side is a puppy.
Puppy? Can you abort puppy? You can abort puppies still. I think that's still
legal.
It's
actually a full-born puppy. It's actually really cute, Jack Russell Terrier. And so it's written, not murder above, or kill a baby, not murder, kill a puppy, murder. And so I actually did stop that. He was parked somewhere and I actually went to the window and like knock, knock, knock. And I'm like, you do realize one is born, one is unborn. if you aborted a clump of cells that were going to turn into a puppy, it would also not be murder. And he was like, rah, rah, rah. Told me to piss off.
Is that what he barked at you?
Yeah, that's just angry pro-life garble.
I know. It's like, I really do believe that men should not be able to vote on this issue. Like, it's literally beyond their comprehension.
Yeah.
You know, to be able to vote on this issue. Like, I've yet to hear a man say something that I'm like, oh, I think that's the right, idea. That's the right intuition here, the right insight. I just don't think it's
well. You guys have a
fair.
$10,000 fine for people who facilitate, right? Uber drivers, right?
This is the new thing. You can civilly sue anybody in Texas for even saying the word abortion or masturbating. I think you can now sue them for masturbation.
What? Seriously?
That's what I think is coming.
That's an
next.
Entire generation of 13 to 14-year-old boys that is going to waste right
down. We're just going to sue them into submission. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I'm just looking at the logical progression,
are we not
right?
Suing the gender? Are we not suing whoever is in charge for impregnating a woman or a girl?
Good question. I think, when you start to follow the tentacles of this, you should be able to charge people for not stopping this, right? So like for, you should be able to charge all the neighbors for not knowing this. Like, you should have known that she was going for an abortion. Like there's no logic whatsoever.
So are we suing condom companies too? It burst.
Sure. I think
I've never had it happen, but I've heard it burst.
Every man for every sperm he creates would be liable. Like just a penny per sperm that does not end up in a full-grown human. You are going to be charged.
All sorts of visuals.
Texas likes to do big, bold, stupid things without thinking about it is the thing. Like that's part of our
Didn't
brand.
they also just remove, you don't need a permit to carry a gun anymore?
You don't need training or a permit to do open carry.
Right. So what could go wrong?
Well, at least this way you can, shoot Uber drivers who are on their way to an abortion. You can take them out. It'd be like that, the way they shot the Taliban. Texas is going to have drones that's going to shoot you on your way to an abortion so that you can't have an abortion.
What's interesting for Texas, especially, is part of the Bible Belt, correct?
Yeah. I mean, Texas is Christianized.
Okay. This is actually applying Sharia law.
Sharia law is actually applying Christian law. I think, weren't we first? Were we first? I think they're ripping us off.
They're just taking the model and running with it. But it's exactly the same. Women don't have control over their own bodies.
Right. But it isn't just that clean, right? Like it is that clean. Like that is totally the issue. It's done.
Yeah.
As a human being, you have control over your own body, period. Nobody can tell you what to do.
You should.
Okay. So that's the idea. But then when it gets inhabited by an invasive species, like a baby, what then? Pregnancy. Now you're two bodies, and we got two sets of laws, two sets of issues, all that kind of stuff. Like if a baby just occurred in a, like it just wasn't inside a human, it would be a different issue.
Yeah, like in vitro fertilization. That's exactly the same thing.
Yeah, but it's trapped. It's trapped inside of a human being. That's the complication.
Or it can be trapped inside a little petri dish.
Right. So then if you destroy the petri dish, would that be murder?
Exactly. Oh my God. And you're in Texas. You're in a whole world of hurt.
Yeah, it's the crazy part is introducing like litigation, like being able to sue somebody. Like that's what they're talking about. That's the new wrinkle here. Like that's so out of bounds of what is allowed, for most things. Like, although, we're a litigious country. You can sue people for anything here.
You do like to sue. You do. Yeah.
It's the only reason Trump has any power. He's been suing people his whole life. Anytime somebody tries to stop him from doing something, he uses the courts to sue them and gum it all up.
It's fun being a lawyer in the US. No shortage of work.
It's ugly though, man. You cannot run a culture when everybody is suing everybody.
Well, so when is it all coming to a head?
You tell me. You're supposed to fix this. This is the Comedian Americans podcast. We're supposed to fix this issue.
We're fixing it. Okay. Let's see. We could have all of the Texan legislators just get COVID. Aren't they also anti-vaxxers? That would fix it.
Yeah, we could require COVID for all government officials, since they don't want to mandate masks and things like that. We're like, okay, well, we need you to get immunity, so we need you all to get in a hotel and everybody catch COVID, so that you are super immunized as legislators. Forced COVID.
You would need something pretty drastic, because essentially it needs to, the composition of the legislation needs to change.
So why are you so pro-choice? Tell me. You said you were vehemently, violently pro-choice.
I did say I was violently pro-choice.
I think it was violent. I think you said
it was violent.
You're a sniper of pro-choice. Like you would.
I'm very opinionated. I was one of those people who writes letters for Amnesty International, because that's how they operate. So just
with letters,
bury people. Yeah.
That gets people out of jail as letters.
It was, it was the 90s. I'm guessing now it's mostly emails, but so quite quick diversion. The way it operated, at least when I was an active member of Amnesty International, is you would receive a package of information telling you who is in danger in what country, charged for what, they're not being given access to a lawyer. At the time, there were a lot of issues in the Philippines. And then you have the full list of all government officials who are capable of making a change, along with their email addresses, phone numbers, fax
so you guys
numbers.
were empowered hecklers.
We were Karens for good.
In comedy terms, you guys were heckling the government. You were Karens for good.
We're Karens for good.
Isn't that the whole thing with like the Karenism, like the whole verbal, barrage of female ire?
Oh, we were the good version of I'd like to speak to your manager. So the whole goal was, and we'd have this template, and we'd just fill in the details and sign and just send.
Do you remember the people you were sending those for?
Yeah, I still have them. I still have the paperwork, because then once things have changed, the Amnesty will actually send you an update so that you have made an impact. So I think that was really the birth of my activism.
Social justice.
Social justice warriors.
Bum. It's Laura Boyer each week, and social justice. I will write a letter.
I do think my husband told me to lose the headscarf because it's going to alienate the target audience. And here I am talking about Amnesty International and pro-choice.
Yeah, there's no alienating. I have no target audience.
Yeah.
So you could have shown up, and I'm going to make people wear clown makeup and stuff, I think, at some point on this show.
But yeah, I think that really came, and honestly, being a woman, I was raised Catholic. I am now identifying as a disgruntled Catholic.
As opposed to those, it's like it's a disgruntled religion, unless you're in Europe and you're like following the Pope around on your hands and knees.
Well, I was in Europe, and all of our classrooms as little kids, we have separation of church and states, but all of the public classrooms that I went to, public schooling, we all had a crucifix in the classroom. We weren't made to pray or anything; it was just there. And there were nuns galore in my town. And
I don't think the word galore fits with nuns. I don't think you can put those two words together. There were many, many nuns. What were some good nun names? Like I had a principal named Sister George Ann.
Oh, wow.
She was about 4'11", and she walked around with a huge weapon, like a huge wooden weapon, like a paddle.
Like a paddle? Yikes. No, why are they always so short? Is that a requirement for nuns? You have to be under 5'2"?
I think they shrink them during the induction ritual. Like they put them in in one of those habits, and then they dry it and it just shrinks them. I think that's right. I was raised Catholic. I've seen it happen.
Yeah, same. So as a disgruntled Catholic, I don't know, I just became very...
Like, how disgruntled? Did you go all Karen on a priest at some point? Did you ever?
I think
always felt
it's
like
the
standing up and
hypocrisy.
saying shit during church.
Oh, I wish. No, I just stopped going. I think it was the hypocrisy of it all. The whole love thy neighbor, and then as soon as you get out of church, everyone's like bitching on their neighbor. And
Yeah, but you
I'm
love them
very...
because otherwise you would kill them. So like that's showing love that I'm not punching my neighbor right now.
Yeah, I also think that there were a few sexual abuse scandals in my town
Yeah, that seemed to
involving
be a thing.
known priests.
The Catholics were way
That,
into that. That was part of
yeah.
their brand now. So disgruntled Catholic, but not
Yes.
aggressive. You're not writing letters to
No.
Amnesty International about the Catholics.
No, because I'm not Texan. My beliefs are my beliefs. I'm not trying to impose my beliefs on yours.
You should impose your belief on other people because you have a good set of beliefs. So you have to propagate those into the world because
But
all the
not
crazy
everybody thinks
people,
my beliefs are good beliefs.
no, all the crazy people want to propagate their shitty beliefs onto the world. But the good people are like, oh, I don't want to impose. You should impose.
Well, I'm imposing right now.
Are you?
Yeah, whoever's gonna listen, I'm just like, okay, leave women alone and girls. If you don't have a uterus, stay the fuck out of this.
There you go. See, good, strong stand. Uterine rights. Maybe that's the way it should all be turned back around. It's not about the woman, it's about the uterus. Like the uterus is a hotel. It's like an Airbnb for that baby, and you can't kick it out.
I also am not calling it a baby.
Yeah, baby's a problematic term. It's such a sweet term.
It's very cute. It's the puppy.
Fetus sounds weird though. Like, what's a fetus?
But it's just biologically accurate.
Well, they should no, it's not. They should call it cells. Like
it's a clump
cell
of cells. Yeah.
As soon as you call it a fetus, that sounds like a thing too.
Well, it is a thing, but it's just... Oh, actually, interestingly enough, seen on TikTok, which has now become the source of news for most people.
TikTok?
Yeah, TikTok.
Okay.
TikTok's the bomb. In Jewish religion, life begins at the first breath.
The first breath?
Yeah.
Like across all Jewish religion, even Orthodox.
Apparently, according to the Southern women on TikTok.
Yeah, that
I have it from good authority.
That sounds a little. I'm not so sure. I have a feeling the Orthodox Jews would have a different definition. Like that's the problem in Christianity, right? It just has a different set of interpretive apparatus depending on how deeply, in the tar pit of Christianity you are.
It's all the sub-brands that are now competing each other and just coming up with random rules and laws and just making shit up.
Well, the Pope doesn't like condoms. Clearly, the Pope does not like that
was
condoms,
John Paul II,
right?
Actually, that was actually John Paul II.
How does he even know what a condom feels like? He's so against them.
That was like 2 popes ago. You do know that.
That doesn't matter. They're interchangeable.
You can just
it's all the same.
Stay current with your popes.
I got it.
No, the one that's now actually, I believe that when he was cardinal in, help me out, Argentina. He actually wrote a memo in favor of same-sex marriage.
Did he now?
Yes.
Has he had sex? Do you think the popes, do they have to be virgins?
No.
They don't have virgin popes?
I don't. Oh God, should we go and ask them? Same as like asking a woman about what you want to do with what's in your uterus.
Like, I want to know like, how long.
Are you a virgin?
How long has it been since you've had sex to the Pope? Like that should be part of the questioning thing, since he's supposed to be the.
Maybe that's why they shrivel up.
Because no sex, they're just.
Like, we'll make you shrivel up.
Turning inward. I think priests priest and nun should have sex, right? That seems like a good setup.
I think they should be able to get married. From what I understand, you don't have that many scandals
I
in
don't
the
think they should be married.
reforms.
Like
Why not?
I think all marriage should be outlawed.
Well, if they want to.
No, I mean all marriage. I think marriage should be illegal.
Yeah, well, I'm saying, how many times have you been married? Because I'm on number 2, so I don't have it like to
Once.
stand up.
I've only been once, but I got it. I understand. I got the principle. I see what it's all about. But yeah, I think outlaw marriage, that's going to be my new, like, I think Comedian Americans should have a platform of things that it wants in the world, and marriage being outlawed, I think, is the first one. Like, no marriages.
Why?
Just to cause trouble.
That would cause trouble.
Yeah, that's what comedians do. They just cause trouble.
Yeah.
So if somebody comes along and says, we're dissolving your marriage. Would it make any difference? Wouldn't make any difference, would it?
No, it would be very freeing for a lot of people, I assume. It's not marriage. It's actually not marriage that keeps people together. It's kids.
Darn those kids. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
They're sticky. Those kids things are sticky.
Super sticky.
I've noticed.
Hence the pro-choice.
How about this? How about everybody is given the power to dissolve one other person's marriage every 5 years?
Ooh.
Right?
Yeah.
Who would you dissolve?
Oh God. Could I make up names?
Yeah, you don't have to tell me the true people.
Oh yeah. Okay, I got one.
See, wouldn't that be satisfying?
It's just like it would be. They would see the lights. How many miserable people are just sticking together for what? For the sake of it? For what?
Because nobody is coming along and forcing them to separate.
I'm saying, you guys, stop this. That's enough.
It is now illegal for you two to be anywhere near each other for the next 3 years. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure it would make a lot of kids happy.
Again, trying to make the world better through better ideas. That's what we're after here.
Dissolve all marriages.
All right, so let's try a couple more stories that are out there in the world this week. There's all sorts of stuff. What's on in Canada? Give me a Canadian story this week.
Ooh, we got a good one. So 2 nurses from Ontario, which is a province.
Sounds like a joke. It's like the beginning of a street joke.
2 nurses walk into a bar. The 2 nurses from Ontario, so province east is where Toronto happens. For all of you Americans who don't have any sense of geography,
you won't remember what you're teaching them. But go ahead.
Started this movement across Canada as anti-vaxxers. 2 nurses. Can't remember what they call themselves. Something dumb like Frontline Healthcare United. Something dumb. Like they just pulled out words out of a thesaurus and then said, that sounds good. So they started this whole movement, organizing it through the evil of all, Facebook. And they did this huge thing in British Columbia, where I am, which is a province to the very west of the country, to organize protests on, I believe it was September 1st and September 2nd, massive anti-vaxxer protests, but they held them all in front of the emergency rooms.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
Well chosen. Let's get in the way of those people.
So blocking ambulances, stopping people from coming in for their chemo appointments. If you arrive with a kid who's had a really bad fall and you need to rush into the ER, you are greeted by hordes of assholes.
You've got some of the new propagandist techniques in Canada, the blocking of shit. What it is, like, it's all very organized and taught and created. Just block shit.
It did not go over well. Yeah.
So it did not go over well.
No, at all. They weren't arrested because it's their right to protest. From what I understand, the nursing staff that was working inside the hospitals, at least in my town, came outside it turned their backs to them and just linked arms and actually created a barrage through which patients could come through safely.
Red Rover. So they were playing Red Rover.
But it's just like, it's not their job.
But see,
To,
this
like,
is what
stop
happened.
people.
Politics, like I talk about like Trump breaking open politics like a pinata in America. It's suddenly now in everything, and nobody knows what to do with it.
Social media? Is it Trump or is it social media?
Well,
or is it Trump using social media?
Social media allows you to distribute a message and organize in ways that have never been available to human beings ever before.
It also sucks you into the vacuum of sameness. So it sucks you in, and you are never being confronted to anything else that will challenge your beliefs. You are in Facebook groups where everyone is going to think the same thing as you, and just that's what it does.
Yeah, well, that's what I do with well, that's not true. Like I curate my media because I only want positive people in my media. I only want people who like my jokes. I don't want anybody discussing my joke, whether it was a worthy joke or whether it was offensive. I don't want to hear any of that. And so I just instantly block anybody who gives me anything other than a positive response.
See, I thrive on it.
Negative responses?
Yes, I get very heated, and it actually gives me a perfect outlet for just verbal diarrhea. It's wonderful.
Is that satisfying, or does that leave you sort of always irritated?
No, it's satisfying because they don't know what's coming at them. So I'm actually not a very irritated person, although I'm pretty sure my husband would beg to differ. I consider myself fairly even. But if you come at me, you're going to find me. So it's pretty good on social media. If I'm not on many social media, to be fair, I did step away from Facebook because it's all garbage.
Yeah, see, you're irritated by it, so you remove as much of it as you can.
It's not irritated. I think it's human stupidity that is concerning to me. So I just walk away because
you end up disliking humanity. It's pretty easy.
You end up losing faith. You know, like what are you guys doing right now? In eating horse deworming pastes. I mean, like, what's the point anymore?
How do you know it may be the best thing ever? Maybe it's like it's awesome on a bagel or something. How do you?
Yeah,
have you had it?
Go ahead and try that.
Have you had it?
Mm-hmm. I've also had all the vets telling us that it would cause liver failure in humans. I know. I'm just one of those people who trust science.
Well, here's a story. Let's throw us around the world a little bit because we're clear that America, is a garbage dump at this moment with Texas. But so Paris decided to lower its speed limit to 19 miles per hour.
What's that in kilometers?
To fight pollution. I don't know, like 30 kilometers per hour.
Yeah. Okay.
That is really slow for a car.
You actually cannot drive faster than that in Paris already because of congestion, like of traffic. So
I think it just means now they're surrendering to speed. Like they've surrendered so much in their history that now they're surrendering even to, driving fast.
Surrendered.
That's got to be super frustrating to just drive 20 miles per hour.
Have you been to Paris?
No.
You can't drive faster than that anyway.
But you can get a ticket.
Traffic all the time.
And they said it's literally to dissuade drivers from driving because they want to make it an unpleasant experience.
Paris is an unpleasant experience.
To drive or to just
Paris is an unpleasant experience.
All right, well, let's piss off the Parisians. Tell me why you hate Paris. Why?
There's dog shit everywhere.
I thought they cleaned that up. I was just talking to somebody that they had motorcycles with like double carrier vacuums that suck up the dog shit. I'm like, well, there's a city for you.
Yeah, but there will always be more dogs shitting that there will be motorcycles vacuuming up the dog shit.
Why don't they clean up their? Why don't
they? Don't.
Why don't they?
It's just a Paris thing. It's like, I am not going to bend down and touch.
It can't be a Paris thing. That's the dumbest thing ever. Like
it's a French thing
that they like dog shit.
that they don't bother. It's just like, hey, that shit on caniveau.
What did you just say?
I just said go shit in the, what do you call that part between the sidewalk and like, you know when it's the clown used to hide, what's called this in
Oh,
English?
the drain, the sewer.
That, but it's
Yeah.
not in the sewer. It's just like the part that's between the road and then you've got that thing and then you've got the sidewalk. Okay.
The city of lights and dog shit. Yeah, it was never.
It
That's
is
a little bit less romantic. Let's go to the
not,
city of
it's,
dog
I
shit.
don't, I've never understood this fascination that North American people have for Paris. Like,
Well, because we
no
know
one
everything
in
through
Europe
movies.
wants to
We
go
don't
there.
know anything about these
Oh,
places.
so you think Emily in Paris is like that's real life, right?
Yeah, of course it is. That's the
Yeah,
only
she's an
life we
unpaid
get to
intern
see.
who walks around wearing Chanel.
That's what they do. I've seen it. Everybody wears berets and high heels and strapped sandals, and yeah, that's
The only thing that is accurate is that everybody smokes.
And they smoke and they look at
And the
their piles of
croissants
dog shit.
and the croissants are to die for.
And
That's the only two things that are true about accurate about Paris. Other than that, everyone's rude.
that's probably why you have to hang out the bakeries. The bakeries are intense enough smell to overwhelm the dog smell.
No, you hang out at the bakery. You just sit there with a coffee and a cigarette all day, and you get trash talks by the waiters.
You get what?
No one's friendly. They're all trash. The waiters. The waiters in Paris, they're the worst. I'm gonna have no French friends after that.
All right. So we pissed off Paris, Texas.
Yes.
What else? ABBA is coming out with a new album. Did you see ABBA is coming out with their new first album in 40 years?
I saw that on TikTok.
So you really do get your news from TikTok?
No, I get entertainment from TikTok. The actual news I get from Swiss News, BBC, and AP News. The only 3 channels I will watch.
So here's a fun comedy thing to when you get news like that, you just mix it with their big flaw, which they're too old to do this right now. ABBA's too old to come out with a new album. It's 40 years.
They are. Yeah.
So, I mean, what songs are they going to have? Like instead of Dancing Queen, it's going to be Depends Queen. What it's
Ouch My Knees.
Take a Chance on My Hip.
Why are they coming with a new album? Did they run out of money?
Grandma Mia. I don't know. Who knows? They have a thing that I guess George Lucas created where they're not actually going to be in concert. They're having kind of avatars, holograms. Yeah, that are going to perform at their concerts.
Oh God, that is so pathetic.
That's weird. Like it's just getting weirder and weirder.
So they're just not gonna leave their living room, but they're gonna be performing.
I wonder if it'll even be them. Like there'll be animatronics. I would go see an animatronic ABBA band. Like it looks exactly like them and kind of moves sort of like them, but it's them.
Yeah, just go watch Daft Punk. That's exactly the same thing.
Yeah. Well, are you going to buy the new album? Are you a big ABBA fan?
No. I don't know who their target audience is, because boomers who grew up with the ABBA are not right. They're not going to want to.
Mamma Mia kind of kept them alive in sort of the gay and those communities. Like it became a big phenomenon, at least over here. I remember. So I don't know.
You would have thought they made enough money with the movies Mamma Mia because they had all the rights to the songs.
So I don't know. 40 years. There's 4 of them. They got to split it 4 ways. They only had 2 songs.
They did not. Did they only have 2 songs?
I only remember 2. Take a Chance on Me and Dancing Queen. That's it. Can you name a third ABBA song?
It depends if I can very discreetly Google.
That's not. That's Google naming a third ABBA song.
I should know them, but no.
Yeah. I cannot either. So let's see what else. It's Labor Day this weekend here in the States. Is it Labor Day in Canada?
It's Labor Day tomorrow.
Same thing?
Yeah, same. I'm just trying to figure out why all of you decided Labor Day was going to be in September, where across the globe, it's May 1st.
Well, it's Workers' Day across the globe.
Yeah, isn't that what labor is?
It comes from the unions, so it does celebrate the workers, but it's called Labor Day, which sounds like we should be working more.
We're celebrating the fruits of our labor. Yeah, what do you do here? Do you just drink and barbecue?
There's this one of these holidays, these non-holiday holidays. Like people will cook out, but that's as far as I can tell, that's it. That's how we honor the workers of the world, is by grilling out in our backyard.
Because it gets pretty intense in Europe.
What do they?
It's the day to protest. It's the day to ask for shit. It's the day that you, every May 1st.
Like the workers make demands?
Yeah. The big protest.
Like, what would you demand? What would your workers demand at Black Bean Media if they were going to take a stand?
My workers? I'm a pretty
You have them chained to a desk right now, just doing marketing over the weekend?
Because I'm actually a pretty nice boss. We have summer hours. So we close every Friday at noon from Memorial Day to Labor Day. You get one mental health day a month where you can take it for whatever you want, and it's not being taken out of your.
I always get the sense that if it's a mental health day, like you should go dress up in like a unitard and go running down the street and just be crazy for that day.
I think that sounds like a great idea. I actually take my mental health day to run errands, and I feel accomplished. Really
I'm not sure that sounds like, I get it. Like you'd feel better because you take that off your anxiety plate, right? Of having to do things.
Yeah.
Huh.
It does increase my mental health. Or I don't know, just go lay on a beach or go golf or that's a concept that a lot of American people or American workers don't really have.
Yeah, my son just took a job and it's freaking him out because it's a really good company and it's this big gaming company and they've got all these progressive practices. Like every other Friday is completely off. They have to, they can't work on the weekends. If they work at all on the weekends, they have to take a day off during the week.
Yeah.
They don't let them work extra.
I love that company already.
Huh. But so you're a boss. So Labor Day is kind of organized against you. Like you're the problem as a boss.
I'm also the solution. I guess there hasn't been any, rumbling. There hasn't been any disgruntled worker lately. I'm pretty sure after this airs, all of a sudden I'm going to have a long list of grievances that I have to address.
Doesn't that feel weird that you're actually the enemy here? You may not be acting like the enemy, but you're in the space of the enemy, the boss, the exploiter of labor.
Do you really have to see everything in this dichotomy?
Do I?
Yeah.
I'm just saying that's what Labor Day does. It's like we're just going to celebrate the people who are not in charge, the workers. You should have to work. You're a boss. You should have to work on Labor Day.
And I will work on Labor Day, actually. I have a long list because I took the whole week off last week. So now I have a long list of things to achieve. But yeah, I do make it a point of not bugging anyone over the weekends unless something dramatic happens, and then I have to bug everyone.
Well, again, part of the idea of this version of the podcast is come up with ideas that change things. So I think Labor Day should be when the CEO
they all get
and
to
the
boss
founders,
me around.
They have to switch salaries.
Yep.
For a day with the workers. So like Jeff Bezos his salary goes to some guy in a warehouse that day. And Bezos has to go work in the warehouse and that guy goes sit in the penthouse and gets that salary.
Isn't there a reality TV show about this? Secret Millionaire or something like that, where they have to go on undercover boss. So yeah, that could be the day where, all the laborers, all the workers have the day off and all of the bosses have to be in the office doing menial tasks.
Or it could be the day where the workers
faxing stuff. Could be the day you all have to fax shit.
They get to they're free to take a shot at the boss to like if you have a bad boss, you get to beat them up on Labor Day. Just saying, like in the history of workers versus employers, like all the strikes and all the unions, I think the workers have some revenge.
Yeah,
They deserve.
you're made to sit there. It's a bit like the firing squad, except that they're firing grievances at you, and you just have to sit there and take it. A whole full 365 days of repressed insults
Until Labor Day. And you get to say whatever you want.
Until Labor Day. And then you have to sit there and you have to take it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
So like, imagine if you were a Roman galley slave, like you just rode a boat all the time and that was your job.
Yeah.
And then one day you get to just, tell the slave guy, hey.
And you're given the whip and you go for it.
Right. And it's just like 4 bosses and they have to try to move the boat that day.
And nothing would get done.
That's not our problem. That's the boss's problem. Okay. There's a story out this week that air rage incidents on planes have gone way up.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? Have you flown?
Oh, I'm here for it.
You're here for it? Like more rage?
Oh, it's so entertaining though. I mean, I feel terrible for the airline staff. I do feel really, really bad for them. But just this image of someone who's been duct taped to their seats, it's a huge source of joy.
I think they should duct tape everybody. Like as soon as you get on the plane, everybody gets duct taped down and there won't be any problems.
Okay, there might be an issue to go to the washroom. Might just be a very
diapers.
unhygienic.
They give you
diapers.
Duct tape and
Okay,
diapers.
Duct tape and diapers.
That's our new idea for flying. Like
so duct tape and diapers.
The attendants feel safe.
As you board, you are being handed a roll of duct tape and a large adult-sized diaper. Done. We fixed it.
Or there's an ejector seat. Like everybody's in an ejector seat, and the flight attendant has control over the ejector button. So, like if somebody's acting up, they can get ejected from the plane.
No, I kind of see it in like the old movies or remember when we used to go to the cinemas back in the day and they had those fold-up chairs. But if you put your butt, or if you were not, as a kid, I still remember that if you're not heavy enough,
right,
it wouldn't fully go down. But if you put your butt all the way at the crease, they would actually fold on you. So this, rather than ejecting people, you would have those folding chairs, and it's just like, oh, you're being an asshole.
Yeah, like taco chairs. They just taco you. I like that one. The reason I like the ejector one, like you can have a parachute. We'll let you have a parachute, but it would eject you and you would land somewhere, wherever, like in the middle of Iowa, and you'd have to get home.
Oh God. In the middle of Iowa. That's like the worst.
And you're probably drunk and you just land in a field of cows.
Iowa and Afghanistan.
And you would think to yourself, you know what? I should not be such an asshole. You would have time to think on your way down.
Do you think people would actually reflect on, like, I have been an asshole?
If you were floating down in the sky on a parachute, still strapped to an airplane, duct taped down in your diaper, you'd have to take a moment to reflect, I think.
One would think.
I'm just encouraging people to be introspective, to turn inward and see what an asshole you are, to turn inward and see it.
But even very vocal and prominent anti-maskers, anti-vaxxers who then catch COVID and are on a ventilator, even they don't self-reflect. So what makes you think that as you're duct taped to your floating seats, making your way down to Iowan Seoul, you would suddenly start thinking, I've made poor choices.
Come on. Some of them, not all of them, but some of them would be like, this is probably me.
That's fair.
That probably
was fair. I deserve that.
They had to really Yeah, I had to go to an extreme here to teach me this lesson, but I got it. I finally got it. All right. So what else? Banksy has a shredded painting that's going on auction again this week.
Is he going to reshred it?
Do you know? That's a good question. Is it just going to stay shredded, or are they going to burn it this time? And it's just going to be an ashtray filled with a painting.
Here, $50,000 or however they. Was
Well, it's
it
going to
at
be
$1
six
million?
times. It's going to go for six. It went for $1 million, I think, and now it's supposed to go for as much as 8 million. This
People
time.
have too much money.
They do. Well, and value is assigned in very odd ways.
It was that story of a taped banana. Remember the duct taped banana?
Yeah, was that Duchamp or whoever? Just
I don't
there's a
know.
few of them that did that, just like the
The
toilet.
banana that made poor choices and ended up duct taped.
Exactly. See, the banana probably learned its lesson. It had been a bad banana. I don't know.
I'm
I'll
also
paint
Banksy
something
though.
and let people shred it for $6 million.
Well, Banksy is just like, hey, let's see what I can get away with.
They can shred anything I've got for $6 million. I can shred my car, put my car through a shredder, anything.
He's been going across the UK and painting parks.
Yeah, I saw that in like an old beat up camper.
Yeah.
Painting broken down parks and things like that.
But now I just caught myself. Do we even know that Banksy's a he?
Well, he seems to be a he. Like when you actually see him. Did you see Exit Through the Gift Shop about him?
I thought no one ever saw Banksy. I thought that
He's
was the
actually
whole
been
thing.
seen. You can find a picture of him online. It's just very reclusive. And he's usually got a hoodie.
I like it.
Maybe you're Banksy. That's why your husband wants you to take off the scarf. It's like somebody's gonna recognize you as Banksy. Well, you have like 4 names: Laura, Nora Boyer.
Oh, I did, yeah.
You can
And
squeeze Banksy in there.
I actually tend to add the third at the end of all of the names.
What's the third?
I'm the third wife.
Oh, your husband's got 2 other wives.
Well, previous ones, not simultaneous wives.
He has inferior wives.
It's actually my Instagram handle. I decided, like I can't fight it. Just a walking cliche of the third wife that's like half a generation younger. So I'm just gonna embrace it.
Yeah. They can't judge you. Who are they to tell you not to be the third wife 40 years younger?
I'm not 40 years younger. Ew. But yeah, that is also the secret of my success, is like being the quiet Banksy on the side there.
The quiet Banksy.
The quiet Banksy. Maybe Banksy's pronouns are they, them. We don't know.
Are you a pronoun person? Do you pronoun it?
I don't know.
Are you a forced pronouner? Like you're like, I know I should pronoun, so I'm going to pronoun.
No, I do have pronouns on Slack. Because you never know who you're going to be interacting with. Let's say you're in a big Slack group or on Zoom, for instance. I feel that right now, a lot of people who have pronouns that match their gender identity or that match their, I don't know, their image, they're using it as a way of saying, oh, look at how woke I am. It's woke masturbation.
Yeah, I have insomnia. I'm culturally an insomniac. I'm so woke. I don't even sleep anymore.
Yeah. And
am I allowed to say like as my pronoun is white guy?
Happy to refer to you as white guy. But
white guy Dan.
There's some people, all the people on LinkedIn. There's this guy I'm connected with on LinkedIn. He's going to recognize himself. It's going to be really funny. It's very like big bearded dude, just like big tatted up bearded dude. And he actually put his pronouns, and I'm like, dude, no one was wondering, no one took one look at you and go, he seems ambiguous. I wonder what the pronouns are.
I just, as a comedian, want them to be more interesting.
Yes.
him, her, that is not an interesting set of pronouns. Make some new ones. Okay, a zagnut. I don't care. Give me something.
But you get canceled so hard.
I'll be a different pronoun. That's fine, but just give me some better options.
Okay, well, I'm waiting for your LinkedIn profile updates.
I don't have to they're the ones that are
reshuffling
the pronoun deck. So if you're going to reshuffle the pronoun deck, then come up with some new cards. Get some real creatives in there, do some work on this. Hire Black Bean Marketing to come in and give you some new pronouns to choose from. It's a very pliable language. We could come up with new things.
There was apparently an old guy he went back to college, I think, as a senior student or something, and they all had to go around and introduce themselves with their pronouns. And he said, whatever, I'm Barry, because that sounds like someone who would be fairly old. Hi, I'm Barry. My pronouns are he, him, but he can also use old and geezer. And I was like, yes, Barry.
Barry the geezer.
Barry the geezer.
Geezer's a good pronoun. I would say geezer. I would use geezer.
Geezer is an underused word.
It is. There's a DJ. Maybe it's out of maybe he's out of LA. He calls himself the Geezer. It's the Geezer here on and that's his identity. I'm like, what a great word.
Weddings? That sounds like the DJ for weddings.
No, he was an LA DJ. He was like an on the radio DJ. I bet we could find him on Google while we're looking up duct tape and Depends. Speaking of Depends, there's a Greek tennis player who got booed at the U.S. Open this week for taking a really long bathroom break.
Stefano Tsitsipas.
What is that? How did you say that? You can say that name?
Of course.
Say it again.
Stefano Tsitsipas.
Yeah, I would never have said that right.
Yeah, it's a huge thing. And, I'm a massive
You're a tennis.
Oh, I live for tennis. I actually played 5 hours yesterday. Hurting everywhere.
You can add all the tennis I've played in my life together and it would not reach 5 hours.
It is. Yeah, I played 2 hours in the morning with a friend and then another hour in the afternoon with my father. And then I did play again for an hour and a half with my husband, but I had a few drinks. So it was
drunk tennis.
Drunk tennis. That's a new sport for you. Drunk tennis. Yeah, to get back to good old Stefano here. So do you know the whole controversy?
All I know is that if you're walking out of the bathroom and thousands of people are booing you, something went wrong.
It was not the first time he did it. So he notoriously takes really long bathroom breaks and takes his entire kit with him. So his bag in which his phone is. So people have noticed that he will go off to the bathroom. And next thing you know, his father, who's also, I think, his manager, starts fiercely texting. So in tennis, you do not have the right to be coached on court.
Okay.
At all. Actually, Serena Williams got in trouble for that because the coach was making movements and they called it on-court coaching. So he would go to the washroom with his entire bag. Now, if you're going to take a dump, you might need your phone because you get bored, but you don't need your entire bag. And he got called off by a German player called, you're going to love this, Zverev.
Who?
Yeah. Sasha Zverev. So who's a German player and who got really, really mad and was complaining to the umpire about the length of the bathroom breaks, the fact that he took all of his gear, and the fact that the dad in the stands is visibly, furiously texting away. And so he played against the British player, Andy Murray. Great player, I believe, Olympic gold medal.
I think he's in ABBA. Isn't he like son of one of the people in ABBA? Andy Murray?
No, it's not.
Oh, okay. No. You sure? Google it. I think he's a child of ABBA.
He's Scottish. All of ABBA is Swedish.
It's just an act.
It's Swedish Scottish.
They're Scottish with bleach blonde hair.
Anyway, so yeah, and so Andy Murray made a huge stink about it. About the bathroom breaks on Twitter.
About his bathroom break. All right, I got you. You're very subtle humor. You're playing a game here. I got it.
Thank you. I liked it. So yeah, so now, well, Tisgas got eliminated, I believe. I need to check on the scores.
He got
from last
eliminated. I get it. It's another bathroom joke.
night.
You're
I have
really
a lot
on a
more.
you're on a roll, which is another bathroom joke. It's endless.
Yeah. So that's the whole drama at the
Don't they play? Don't they play
right
the
now.
U.S. Open in Flushing, New York?
They do Flushing Meadows, yeah.
Again,
The joke just writes itself.
This is an endless joke. Like, I bet you we could just, yeah, come on.
Yeah.
Wow. So this guy, that's the first time I've ever heard of that in sports. Like the bathroom break becomes a strategic advantage and becomes a contentious issue.
Well, tennis is a mental game. So you can really fuck with your opponent's minds. But it is a mental game. Don't look at me like that. It is
Hit
a
the
mental
ball.
game.
You hit the ball one direction. How mental is it?
You can have breakdowns. I've had breakdowns.
You know what I wish in tennis?
Tell me.
I wish like people would have to, like, every 5 shots have to hit it straight up and never has to wait for it to come back down, like on the other side. Like you have to do like a moon shot. That would make tennis more interesting.
Drunk tennis would make things more interesting.
It would also be more interesting if they played with more than one ball at a time.
It did happen. It was a mistake, but it did happen. I can't remember.
I'm talking like 5 tennis
program.
balls at a time, and they're both just hitting it at each other. Tennis just needs to evolve a little bit, is my point. Like it's too, I know where they're going to be. They're both on this side of the court and they're both hitting the ball that direction. So,
but that's the thing, when you talk to true lovers of the sport, like myself, within all of the stuffy rules of tennis and tennis etiquette, there are some hilarious things happening.
Like what? I've never laughed at a tennis match. I've never been like, oh, this is so funny. It's so entertaining.
There's an Australian player, Nick Kyrgios, who, so you know how you serve and you toss the ball up in the air and then you hit it?
I've seen that awkward move, yeah.
Yeah. So sometimes you chant it up, he'll just like drop it to the ground and hit it down.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
And that is,
how does he come up with these things? That's like blow people in tennis's mind.
Tennis nerds be crazy.
Oh, woo. Man, this guy is insane.
There are some fun things happening in tennis, but it's true that we could, I mean, honestly, based on my game yesterday, drunk tennis, I think I'm onto something here.
I would watch drunk tennis.
Right?
I would also watch tennis where like each side has like 4 players.
We could make it like yoga. You know how yoga diversifies? You had goat yoga. Have you ever had goat yoga?
Ghost yoga?
No, goat, like mini goats.
Oh, goats. Yeah, goat tennis. I would watch goat tennis too.
Right? Where you have mini goats that just amble around a court.
I like
but you get
tennis
double
too.
the points if you hit a goat.
Yeah.
It's like Grand Theft Auto, but it's Grand Theft Tennis.
But see, I would take it up a level and maybe make it like rhinoceroses on the tennis court. Like goats are not that interesting, but like a rhinoceros loose on the tennis court, it would change the whole dynamic. It's like he gets ready to serve. Oh shit. Oh, he's down. Right. That had to hurt. I think the rhino is being attracted to the ball. Oof. That guy needs to go to the bathroom for 10 minutes. Get himself together. Fucking rhino. Yeah. Tennis. I don't get it. I don't understand. I like all sports. I enjoy all sports. I used to watch McEnroe and Borg play.
I think McEnroe was fun.
Yeah, because he was not a tennis player. He was like a crackhead. You know, he would say anything and lose everybody watched it for him, but they didn't watch it for the tennis.
But there are still a few players. They're not as visible as McEnroe was back in the day. But you do have a few players like that. There's one French player, very, very tall guy, super tall and lanky. And his trademark is he does dunk shots. So
he's stealing something from another sport to make tennis semi-interesting.
He'll jump like he's going in for a dunk. He leaps, feet up in the air. It's beautiful. thing to watch. There's also another German player who's got dreadlocks down to his hips.
Again,
And
nothing to do with the sport. He's got style.
no, I know, but he leaps sideways like a
if he
soccer
hits the
goalie.
ball with his dreadlocks, I'll be impressed. If he like whips his dreadlocks around and returns service, I'll be impressed. But otherwise, you're just
Okay, you know
enjoying
what
his
sport
style.
we need to revive is golf. Golf is, I'm sorry for all the golfers out there, golf is by far the most boring sport to watch ever.
Well, I agree, and that's why it's the same thing. Like let a rhino loose on the tennis court, but wild
Yes.
dogs, I think, like wild African dogs on the golf
Yes.
course would make it way
Yes.
more interesting.
It would.
Because then
puppies.
they have to really,
or Labrador
move.
puppies, because they'll steal the ball.
I want to see them get attacked. I want to see these guys under pressure. Like I want to pressure putt. Yeah, when 15 hyenas are coming up the,
I want to go
fairway after you. 15
You want
hyenas.
to see people in hospital.
That's they chose to play the sport. They can wear the big padded dog protection stuff if they want. That'd be more interesting to watch too. I'm just trying to make things better for people. That's all I'm trying to do.
Yeah, I like that. We need to make golf better because, oh my God, even the commentators just sound like they have a foot in the grave.
How about one ball explodes? There's one exploding
but you
ball.
Don't know which one.
Nobody knows which one it is.
No.
But every tournament, there's going to be one ball that when you hit it, it's just going to explode and take, I don't know, singe your hair or just destroy your bag or something like.
Oh, okay. I was going a little bit more extreme. I was like, take your leg out, but okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
lose a leg.
Hair.
See, now you're thinking. That would be more interesting to watch. There'd be more drama. It's like, oh, Tiger Woods lines up the putt, and oh my God, he'll never play again.
There goes the leg. Oh no, we can't use Tiger. But is he walking? Is he back to walking? What's the status on Tiger?
I don't know. He probably has slaves carrying him around. He's got so much money. He's probably got like just people just carrying him from place to place. That was a weird story. The whole, he never hit the brake. And yet it wasn't anything to do with drugs or alcohol. He just lost control of this car. Like, who does that?
Was he getting a BJ?
I don't know. There's a missing part to that story. Let's all agree as journalism 101. Oh yeah, he was driving at excess speed, never hit the brake, and went off the road and flipped, and yeah, it just happened. Of course.
Yeah, something is missing in that story.
Something's
just like the
missing.
story where he was supposedly being chased around by his now ex-wife, and he drove into a fire hydrant. Remember that story?
Was it a fire hydrant? All I remember was her like swinging a club at him or something.
Yeah,
and he
but
hit a tree. Was it a tree or a fire hydrant?
It was something like stationary that he hit.
And you
can't
didn't
remember
buy it?
what. I'll have to go. No.
Why not? Like as an ex-wife yourself.
As an ex-wife who have actually never chased my ex-husband down with a club. Although I should have.
Yeah.
I should have.
We don't know. Yet.
A bat maybe, but like, why a club? A club is not going to do enough damage. Not only that, but you don't fucking run after a car with a club.
This is a really good ex-wife psychology. Like really looking into the psychology of an ex-wife. You're like, no, you need something that's going to do more damage than that.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to chase your car. That's embarrassing. I'm going to wait till you're asleep.
You come at You come at him while he's asleep. In which case I recommend a pillow. But you just like the whole, she was chasing me around with a golf club, but I'm in my car and supposedly she's running after the car with a golf club. No, you just drive off and you're like, see ya. You're not at risk if someone's running after you and you're in a vehicle.
What do you think he was yelling at her? Do you think he was yelling golf terms like four or, playing through? Like, was he trying to? She should have hit him with golf shoes, right? They have spikes on them.
Yeah, but then you got to calculate the rotation to make sure the spikes, hit at the right moment.
Man, he absorbed a lot of hate for a while there, like especially female hate.
It was well-deserved hate coming from the female camp.
Was it? Like it was a lot. Like
Yeah.
probably a billion women around the world suddenly knew about this and hated him for it. That's a lot of hate.
I think you're giving him too much credit. Not everybody cares that much about Tiger Woods.
All around the
I
world,
heard
you
about
don't think like if there's 3.5 billion women, you don't think 1 out of every 3 women know who Tiger Woods is?
No. I mean, I read about it in the papers, and I was just like, yeah, there goes another asshole. But it wasn't enough to provoke hate. It was
Light hate. It was
news.
celebrity hate. It wasn't like your best hate. It was one of your secondary or partial hate.
Celebrities don't get my hate. They get my, I don't know, like condescending disgust.
What about Texas? Is Texas getting your hate?
Legislation, they're getting close.
See, politicians.
Not the whole state.
I've had friends who actually have sent me like messages asking if I'm okay. I'm like, yeah, I'm a white guy in Texas. I'm fine.
You be okay?
Like, they're like worried about everybody in Texas now. Like any liberal in Texas.
Now Facebook is going to put that little, you can mark yourself safe
in Texas.
In Texas.
They're going to be hunting liberals in Texas at some point. Like it's going to be, you can bag 3 liberals every month, and that's your limit.
And you don't need a permit for it. It's already starting.
Well, if you actually look at the rhetoric of the way they talk about liberals, you can substitute Jews or, any of these hate groups from other totalitarian cultures, and they're saying the exact same things. They're just dropping the word liberal in there.
Yeah.
So
we don't have the same amount of, don't get me wrong, there is division up here in the Great North. But I have not seen it get to the extreme. But that's always been the US, right? Go big or go home. We do everything bigger.
Texas. Like Texas is if we're gonna piss the world off, we're gonna really piss the world off. But we're more organized about our right-wing infrastructure in this country. So it's bigger, it's more vivid, more amplified, it's everywhere, and it's supported by money, and the protests, aren't just coming out of nowhere. They're very well organized and all that stuff. Like even the legislation that went here in Texas for the anti-abortion stuff was written by a think tank. Like it was all written by and underwritten by very rich white guys. And so it didn't just come out of nowhere. Like it's all been very organized for a long time. And that's why it keeps getting further and further down the road of success, because we're in the courts.
This is where technology is supposed to save us. Like, where are all my hackers? Where are all my hackers for social good that just go and just completely hack all of those think tanks' computers? I'm gonna get arrested for this.
Well, the problem is that they have so much money and they've gotten so sophisticated. They hire the hackers themselves. Like they hire anybody that's dangerous to them. They corrupt anybody that's dangerous to them. So they're no longer easy targets. It's not an easy system to take down anymore because it got very organized. And so it's very well funded. It's very smart. It's very, structured for what it's going to do. And all these kind of hackers or journalists can't get through it anymore. Courts can't get through it. Like the courts can't charge Trump with anything. They can't get to his taxes. All these crazy things that you can't do anymore because it's a super structured shadow government in its own way. And so we'll see what happens with it. But Texas is just one of the states where it's got old roots, so they can push things through like this. There you go. Terrifying. There's some good conspiracy theory for you, people. All right. Well, we're about done here. We've gone over an hour. We have to finish out with the weird quiz.
A weird quiz. Go for it.
I finish every show with a weird quiz. And the rules for you are that you've got to deliberate your choices out loud before you pick one.
Okay.
So first question on the Laura Nora Boyer,
the third,
700 other names, the third quiz. What's the weirdest thing? And you have to think about this one. I'm going to give you some answers to get warmed up, options, but then you This will be a personal answer.
So that's the draft quiz.
Yeah. So this.
Okay.
Okay. So this is the first question. What's the weirdest thing you've ever been hit in the face by? I'm going to give you some warm-ups. Here's some things, a list of possibles. You tell me yes or no that you've been hit in the face by this.
Okay, but I have to deliver it out loud.
Yeah. So a quiche.
I don't remember having something hot and moist hit my face that I could also eat and like it.
Right. Okay. So no quiche.
So no.
A live fish.
Okay, this actually reminds me of a story that happened just a few weeks ago here in British Columbia, where a Tinder date went wrong when the guy started beating the woman with a live fish. But that one was not me. They went fishing as part of their first Tinder date, and he got really, really drunk, and they got into an argument, and he started slapping her with a fish.
I have questions about this story. I have to look it up because I'm not sure how you slap somebody with a. How big was this fish?
Well, it's pretty easy, right? You fish them, you put them in the cooler, and they got into an argument. I guess he grabbed the closest thing, just grabbed the fish probably by the tail and just started.
No, there's so many things, like fish are slippery. Come on, she couldn't get out of the way of a fish. Like how drunk was she?
He probably also equally drunk. He also then had his barbecue in the bed of his pickup truck, and in a fit of rage, tossed the barbecue over to the side of his pickup truck and started a massive wildfire that burned, I think, 900 hectares.
Humans. But you have never been hit with a.
I personally have never been hit.
Not even like a goldfish that jumped out of when you were changing a tank or.
Oh, do you mean like someone physically hitting me with a fish
I just mean any time this is.
Okay, yes, I have been hit in the face by a fish when I was a child fishing in one of those stocked ponds.
Okay.
And so when you pull, it was a trout.
Then you get fished. All right, so good.
I got fished.
You're 1 for 2. A kite. Have you ever been hit in the face by a kite?
Not that I remember. I feel like I would remember being slapped by a cat.
I've been hit by kites. Huh. They're hard to control when they come down.
I
like
must
there's a certain point where a kite decides it's over and it just dives, and sometimes you can't get out of the way. All right, so those were your options. What's the weirdest thing you've ever been hit in the face by?
Oh, these are my options?
I gave you those options. No, but like now, personally, what's your weirdest item?
Oh God,
I can tell you mine.
There's so many weird items. Yeah, please.
I got hit in the face with a maraca by my son when he was like 6 months old. You know, one of the Mexican maracas that shakes, and I gave him this little plastic maraca, and it was heavy, and he was shaking it, and I was down by, he was like 6 months old in his little chair, and he looked at me, and he took the maraca, and he just like whack, he just hit me in the face with the maraca.
Well, you're asking a parent, so I've been hit in the face with vomit. Does vomit count?
Sure, that could be. Is that the weirdest thing? Vomit?
Yeah. Well, it's not weird. It's uncommon, I guess, to be hit in the face by projectile vomiting, and it's very. There's this moment where you've been projectile vomited onto your face, and there's this moment of everything in you just gives up all at once, as it drips off of your face. Yeah, very slowly.
Good answer. Very intense. Good answer. All right. You ready for your second question?
Yeah. Hit me.
All right. On the weird quiz. What dinosaur would you be if you could be a dinosaur? And I'll give you some options again, and you don't have to pick these, but there's a few options. Would you be like a Tyrannosaurus that just, ripped everything, just murderous Tyrannosaurus? You murder like constantly with your tiny little arms?
I already have a pretty good idea of what dinosaur
you couldn't do a push-up.
Go for it. No.
Like I used to do this for people. Like I'd be like, "What's this?" And they're like, "I'm like, it's a Tyrannosaurus doing a push-up." They can't do push-ups. A brontosaurus. Would you be a brontosaurus just sitting around eating moss all the time?
Chill.
They're massive.
They're huge. They just eat. Yeah.
That's all. They just eat. How do they have sex?
I'm gonna assume like rhinos do.
Do rhinos just have regular like doggy Rhino style sex. I guess it's not
They
doggy
do.
style.
I've actually witnessed it.
No, you haven't. What,
Yeah,
playing tennis?
I have a video
How about
of it.
on the tennis court? You
I actually have a pornographic video of rhinos mating that I witnessed in on the safari in South Africa.
okay? Well, I could backtrack and ask, like, how does the adjective pornographic actually apply? Like,
To
is
rhinos,
somebody able to get sexual gratification out
you
of
know what?
watching
With what's going on in the world, I would not be surprised if there was some
rhinos?
freak out there that get turned on by rhinos mating. Who
Was
am
it
I to judge?
Was it consensual? Did we?
She walked away, actually, so I'm gonna.
She walked away.
She was disappointed. So
That is projection. You don't know. That may have been the best sex she ever had. Like rhino sex
no,
for
it
3
was
seconds.
way too short for that. She was just
That-
like, ugh,
That might have been
Bill,
exactly
and
what
she
she
walked
wanted.
away.
Oh, that was perfect. 3 seconds
Yeah.
of sex, and that's all I wanted.
I actually put it on YouTube. Go ahead. What's my
Okay.
third option?
Third option is: would you be that weird thing with the spiked tail and the massive horned toad
A
head?
Stegosaurus?
A Stichosaurus?
A Stegosaurus? Is that the one with the diamond-shaped scales?
Oh, is this
all
because you
across?
have kids? Is this why you know dinosaurs?
I have 3 boys.
Oh yeah, you got to know dinosaurs.
I do know my dinosaurs.
Okay, Stegosaurus. Would you want to be a Stegosaurus, or something new that you can just make up? You can make up your own dinosaur,
Okay.
like a Dancesaurus. Like it dances, and that's how it kills people and kills things. It just dances on them until they're dead.
Why I have terrible dance moves. Somewhere along the line, all of my African blood that is supposed to come with rhythm and really good moves, it went that. Yeah, no, I got the white dad genes.
The Swiss
just
moves.
like,
You got the Swiss moves.
I just bob my head awkwardly on the side. Yeah, everyone
right.
kind of expects me to start salsaing my way through a dance floor, but I'm just the awkward one that bobs her head on the corner. No, actually, I don't have to make up my mind. I would actually be a velociraptor.
Why? Because it's the most murderous.
Yes, it's very small.
Yeah, weren't they like 3 feet tall?
Well, maybe, I don't know. Aren't they bigger in Jurassic Park?
Well, of course, you can't have a 3 foot tall villain in Jurassic Park.
They're really smart.
Comparatively,
sneaky.
like if you gave them a, standardized SAT, they wouldn't do great.
No, but that's like sneaky smart.
They're murder smart.
And they'll always find you.
Murder smart.
Yeah, and they'll always find you.
So is this like going back to the revenge, like ex-wife thing? Like you'd like to be an ex-wife velociraptor? Like,
but
if Tiger Woods had divorced a velociraptor, you're saying it would not have had to chase him down the street. It would have just murdered him.
No, the velociraptor would have just waited quietly in the corner of the house and just waited for the right time to just bite its head off. But yeah, so velociraptor, definitely. I would not be your warm and fuzzy dinosaur, or your.
You'd be a wife-a-raptor. You would be a combination of a wife and a velociraptor. And
isn't that what all wives are anyway?
Don't mess with me, would be your point. All right, last question on the weird quiz. You ready? Okay, you've got to pick a way that you prefer the world to end, the planet to end. So I'm going to give you 3 choices, and then again, you can make up your own. I don't know if you've thought about this or not, if you already have an option.
I have, yes.
Okay.
I'm a big preparer for the end of the world.
Nice. All right. So planet-sized meteor coming at us, and we can see it for a year, but we can't do anything about it.
Evil.
A year.
No, that is evil.
That'd be the greatest year ever.
No, not for all people with anxiety.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you could do anything you wanted because oh, so what? It's a year.
Oh, okay. I'm anxiety flaring up. Moving on to next option right now. I'm clearly not. I was gonna go for the meteor, but it had to be like quick.
Quick. Like, yeah, no.
Bam,
Quick is no fun. No, we're not giving you quick options. All right. the sun slowly starts to move toward us, like a
Ooh,
foot a day or something.
no.
And we slowly get baked.
But then you have pustules all, when you get a third-degree burn and you're covered in those, how do you call it? It's like, I know
Blisters.
the name in French. Blisters? Yes, that.
So everybody would die with blisters. That doesn't sound good.
Yeah. No, it really doesn't.
But
It's just
everything would be like a beach, or it'd be like a vacation for.
no, we got hit with the heat domes. You didn't have the heat dome this year. We got hit with the heat dome. Believe me, I do not want to bake.
Okay, so no baking. We're not going for
No.
that. Last thing, a massive
Oh,
space kitten shows up, like galactic
I like.
space kitten comes
Okay,
down,
yeah.
sees Earth, and just knocks us around a while like a ball of yarn, and then eats us.
I do like the idea of the space kitten. How the fuck did he come up with that?
It's a weird quiz.
So how did you even like dream this up? Space-sized kittens. I just like how
This
do
is
you
what my
have
brain
this?
does when I let it.
Oh.
Comedian thing.
Okay. Ooh, God, that's a tie between the kitten and death in
So
the
you were going to pick
meteor.
a fast meteor for your own?
Yes,
That's no fun.
like dinosaur style. You don't know what hit you. Literally, they did not know what hit them.
I thought actually now they say that they died off over like thousands of years.
No, because they find fossils of dinosaurs that are still chasing whatever they're chasing.
Yeah, but like not all of them died from the impact instantly. Like for the entire species to go out took thousands of years.
Oh, okay. I was not keeping up to date with my dinosaur
I
news.
think, I don't
Clearly,
know. But it may also have been COVID, and there were a bunch
can
of
maybe
anti-vax
Pompeii?
dinosaurs. Like you can
Uh,
find some of them have masks on, like in
yes,
the paleo record.
obvious. Yeah, and and you can find them because they have masks under their noses.
Under their noses. Yeah.
Under the nose. The nose mask is a good one too. Okay, so space kitten or meteor?
For a year.
Space kitten.
Space kitten. Wouldn't
Space
you just
kitten.
want to see the space kitten?
Don't you see it if it's a massive space kitten?
Yeah, you'd
Doesn't
have
it
to.
block the
Everybody'd
sun
see it.
once in a while?
Yeah, everybody have to be able to see it.
I thought you would have zombie apocalypse in there.
No. That's too known. I wouldn't use somebody else's apocalypse. I want my original apocalypse.
That's the plural of apocalypses.
Yeah.
Apocalypse.
Apocalypse. All right. Well, there you go. You passed the quiz. Congratulations. Death by space kitten, velociraptor, and you got hit in the face with vomit by a child. Children are awful to parents. They're just terrible.
They are. They are.
So, well, cool. Thanks for doing this, for representing Canada.
Thanks for having me. Yeah.
And the drunk tennis players of the world.
The drunk.
The Drunk Tennis
We're onto
Association, the
something.
DTA.
We're onto something.
Well, I want you to take video of that. Like next time you play drunk tennis, make sure you drink enough that it's really visible, and then have somebody take some video of you playing drunk tennis. We'll run that.
Probably already have footage of it that I will send over.
All right, sounds good. Well, thanks for coming, Laura, Norup,
Stop. Just stop.
Bayer. I don't know. That's too much. Norup Bayer isn't like exactly easy to say.
It's not even there.
I thought it was Bayer.
No.
What is it? Boyer.
Yeah. Who cares?
So close.
At this stage, we're all gonna
close.
get knocked around by a space kitten. So who cares about last names anymore?
That's right. It doesn't. The kitten doesn't care. The kitten's taking you all anyway. Well, cool. This has been Comedian Americans. Come back next week. We'll continue to fix the world. I think we fixed a lot today. So just make sure you do all the things we suggested about duct taping people in their diapers to their seats, and the taco solution. The taco solution is good too. We will see you again next time on Comedian Americans.